Hi, Ken. Can you hear me? Mhm. This is Taylor. Zimeisha? Yeah. Or ziko sawa? They're okay. Yeah, I think we're okay. And the ones who are on the sixth place, we'll give them. We'll give them a yeah. Yeah, give them. Calling meeting number 177 of the Hill Toastmasters to order. Good evening. Hey, guys. Hey, let's try that again, right? Calling meeting number 177 of the Hill Toastmasters Club to order. Good evening. How are you? Turn to your neighbor, say high five with a smile. Tell them it's from Lillian. I see you. I see you. Fantastic. It's good to see all of you here this evening. And before I dive into the club business, I would just like to ask you a few questions. And I'll choose a few people. Yeah, the ones that are not looking at me very nicely. Arnold. Or is it Annie? Was it Arnold? Would you rather be timer in every meeting for 2 months or deliver table topics back to back for 3 meetings? I rather the first one. Would you rather be timer in every meeting for 2 months or deliver table topics back to back for 3 meetings? The second. The second one. Why? Timers don't enjoy the meeting. Because we're focused on the time. Okay. Yeah. All right. And you grow through table topics. Yeah. I love that. Fantastic. Next question. I'll read the question so that I have your attention, all of you. Would you rather give an impromptu speech for 3 minutes or prepare a speech in 30 minutes and deliver it immediately? Would you rather give an impromptu speech for 3 minutes or prepare a speech in 30 minutes and deliver it immediately? That is, deliver the prepared speech after 30 minutes. Who looks ready? Who's not smiling? I've forgotten our guest, Candy's friend. Remind me your name, please. Please. James, yes. Impromptu speech. Okay, why?
I think in 30 minutes I will think.
Uh-huh.
Immediately, just anything that comes to my mind.
You say it. All right. I love that. Okay. Ladies, get ready. Would you rather have your speech evaluated by the district leader, that may be Dite Maggie or Robert Karanja, or by your younger sibling? Would you rather have your speech evaluated by a district leader or by your younger sibling? Emma?
My younger siblings.
Why? They understand you better. Okay, good. Would you rather be club president for a year or the sergeant at arms forever? Would you rather be club president for 1 year or the sergeant at arms forever? Kevin?
President for you.
President for a year, why?
70 times,
You're not going anywhere. Okay.
That means
All right. Oh, so after presidency, you can move to something else. Oh, I love that. Okay. Yes.
I'd rather be 70 times.
Forever. Why?
Because it's consistent.
Okay.
It's consistent. You know what to do every day.
Uh-huh.
But as a president, I think you have to lead people, you have to deal with that expo issue, or be invited just in the
Or be the SAA like today. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody has a reason. Anyone else would want to give a different opinion? Okay. Would you rather be, let me see, sorry. Would you rather win best speaker, but forget to record the speech, or have a perfect recording of your worst speech ever? Would you rather win best speaker, but forget to record your speech, or have a perfect recording of your worst speech ever? Mercy. How this mm-hmm. Was that like okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else? Uh-huh.
I think I'd rather have best friends one because then I can be able to see where I can something.
Okay. Okay. Everybody has a good reason. Anyway, let's move to the club business. Do you have any guests here? Any guests by show of hands? Okay, you're a repeat guest, not a repeat guest. Welcome to the Hill Toastmasters Club. We are so happy that you chose to spend the evening with us. Toastmasters is an international organization that helps members to become better communicators or better leaders through meetings like this, where you practice different roles. You can be you can be all these roles that you're seeing here, and you're going to experience that this evening. And we learn by getting feedback and giving feedback from our fellow Toastmasters. In Toastmasters, it is broken down from Toastmasters International, it's broken down to regions. And then from regions, it's broken down to districts. And we belong in District 114. District 114 consists of 10 countries that are in East Africa, that is Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, Ethiopia, and so on. And then you're further broken down into division, area, until now we get to the club level. At the club level, it is led by an executive committee, commonly known as the EXCO. And I am the president, and my name is Lillian Kimando. I do not serve alone. I can see our secretary is in the house at the back there. That is Sylvia Ongiroto. And then we have 3 vice presidents. We have the vice president of education, not yet here, vice president of membership, vice president of public relations. All of them are ladies. Tabitha Kendi, Christine Ombaka, and Vivian Mike Eze Odo. Is Cyril, not yet here also, and our SAA, Ken Jenga, who is online. And our mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning environment. As you'll see here, this is where you're allowed to come and learn. Even when you make mistakes, we still applaud you and we still give you feedback on how you can improve and become a better speaker or even a better leader. I will move on to the club business. Our secretary, kindly confirm whether you 36.
I confirm.
Okay, how many saw the minutes and read them? Okay, let me start by how many saw the minutes? Fantastic. How many read? Tell me, how do we change this culture? The minutes are ours. We need to read because we need proposals. So for those who read, do we have any corrections? Any corrections? Okay. I have one correction, Madam Secretary. We have Derek Mandela, who was a visiting Toastmaster. He's from SEMA Toastmasters Club. And then we also need to work on the online attendance. We only had DTM Maggie in the lists. Is there any other correction? All right. With those corrections, can we have a proposer? Those that read? Thank you, Olisa. Seconder? Seconder, please. Thank you, Nick. Nick Sitima. I hereby declare minutes for meeting number 176 of the Hill Toastmasters Club adopted. Now, to the meat of the club, of the meeting this evening. I'm so excited that we are celebrating culture. And guys, we had a question from the TMOD. Can I just pick one person who've not spoken? How do you say hi in your language? How do you say hi? Good evening. Uh-huh. We don't have HDMI. Sorry? Wemwega. Okay. That is which from where? Murima. So this evening, our Toastmaster of the day has prepared so many things for us. I wish, okay, you'll see her when she stands here. And I just want to say one thing about her. How many know the national basketball team? How many watch basketball? Oh, all of you are Arsenal fans. You're an Arsenal fan. Oh my God. Anyway, she loves playing basketball. Team 2 times. She has not been successful, but we pray that the third time you will succeed. Do not give up. Yeah. Her name is Veronica Wangoi, and she's very proactive. Any role that she's given, she goes over and above to deliver it with precision. And I really love it. You saw the way she delivered her counter role in the last meeting. Now it's a TMOD. She's dressed the part, and we are so excited that you're the TMOD this evening. So help me welcome our Toastmaster of the evening, Veronica Wangoi. We can do better, guys. Ladies, where are you? Can you see the way she's dressed? Yay! Fantastic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for taking this role. All the best. Thank you. Can I push this forward if there is no screening? Let me help. Okay.
How do you prefer?
Yes,
There? You're good? So in case. Sorry?
Then thank you. Good evening, members, invited guests, and all Toastmasters joining this evening. Welcome to the Hill Toastmasters 177th hybrid meeting. The meeting today has 3 segments. The first one are our prepared speeches, where members present speeches based on their pathways. These will take between 4 to 7 minutes each. The second segment is the table topic, with the impromptu speaking segment, which will be led by the table topic master. The last segment is the feedback session, where we will have the evaluators listening to the prepared speeches to give feedback and to help the speakers evaluate their progress. In this section, we will also have the different role takers, the grammarian, the counter, the timer, give their reports. The general evaluator will give her final remarks. We also have our guest speaker for the day during that time. Before we begin our meeting, we have a few house rules. The first one, please clap for everyone as they come and leave the stage, as this creates a supportive space. Secondly, shake hands with the next speaker or role taker at the stage so that we keep the transition smooth. And lastly, keep movements minimal during the speeches and also set your phones on silent. Fellow Toastmasters, we now dig into the business of today. And fellow Toastmasters, to remind you, before Kenya had the counties, the cities, and the towns that we have today, it had a collection of many cultures, which had been whispered into existence by the Creator. Tonight, we are not just having a meeting, we are going on a journey. We are going to climb the mountains, cross the rivers, we'll go through the forests, and also to the lakes. We are traveling the whole of the country. But before we start, I have something. Inside this basket, I have some secret messages. It's a greeting or a thank you word, which comes from the different parts of the Kenyan cultures. I am inviting some brave participants from the crowd who would pick out a word from here, read it, guess which language it comes from, and guess whether it's a greeting or it's a thank you word. So who is willing to start? Brave participants, thank you, Toastmaster. Yeah.
Oh my God. Of course, I'm greeting employers.
To appreciate your participation,
Wow.
this is a Kikuyu that you can use to take for it.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's hard. We are a
Yore, yeah.
Your is what?
Is what?
British.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, sir.
Are you sure?
Great.
So for the kids is in the room, can you confirm if that is a greeting or it's a hello?
Yes, yes, it is. But you said we are. It's not to tell me.
Yes, I have something from the post. That is. Let you remember the name. Why? And maybe to our last person, who is going to be the last person who can try something and remember our secretary at the back.
Language, so beyond that, it's a greeting.
That's awesome. So it's true, it's a test word to say hello and to appreciate you. I have a good having show with other people. It's very good.
A point of order, we can't hear you online. The device is on mute. Point of order, we can't hear you online. The device is on mute.
Sorry about that. I think you're back. Confirm.
Confirmed.
Itia Maggie, can you hear me?
Confirmed.
Thank you.
So I'll dive into the role. I'll be your grammarian for the day. As a grammarian, my role will be to pay close attention to all speakers, listen carefully to their language use. I'll take note of any improper use of language, proper use of language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or thoughts. As a grammarian, it's also my duty to introduce the word of the day. It's already posted on all corners of the room. The word is tenacity. It means being very determined and persistent. Also, it can mean being able to grip something firmly. An example of the usage of the word tenacity in a sentence is Kenya's culture has survived through sheer tenacity. The tenacity of our elders keeps history alive. In Toastmasters, tenacity helps us to push through fear and speak confidently. So I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to the celebration of language, culture, and tenacity, the very spirit of Kenya's diversity. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Gentrix. Our next role taker this evening is the R counter, Toastmaster Kendi Mugendi. I asked Kendi, every community has a storytelling style. In your culture, how were stories traditionally passed down from generation to generation? She said, grandmothers had the storytelling sessions every evening. And also the community used songs, such as songs during harvest, planting, circumcision, to pass the information. Toastmaster Kendi, welcome and tell us what your role entails.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Kendi Mugendi, and I will be your counter this evening. My role entails taking notes of overused words and filler words or even long pauses. Such words that I'll be looking for will be like and so on and so forth. To help me to alert you when you use the pauses, I'll be ringing the bell just to let you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kendi Mugendi. Our next role taker this evening is our timekeeper, Leah Mwende. I asked Leah, some communities are very strict with time, while others not so much. In your community, is timekeeping flexible or sacred? Toastmaster Leah says, in her community, timekeeping is dependent and varies from individual to individual rather than the community. Welcome, Toastmaster Leah, and introduce us to your role.
Thank you, Timothy. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. My role as timekeeper will involve keeping track of the time taken by the various speakers, the evaluators, as well as the table topics, and the guest speaker as well, who we are having today. So I'll be using 3 colors. We have green. I hope you can all see. And we have yellow. I'll give you details in a moment. And we have red. So depending on the time that has been allocated to your role, for the prepared speeches, we have icebreakers. Icebreakers have been given 4 to 6 minutes. So at 4 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 6 minutes, I'll raise the red card. For the other speeches, have 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 6 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I'll raise the red card. For the evaluators, we have 3 minutes each. At 2 minutes, I'll raise the green card. 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I'll raise the red card. For the table topics, the allocated time is 10 minutes. At 8 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 9 minutes, I'll raise the yellow card. And at 10 minutes, I'll raise the red card. We also have a guest speaker whose allocation is 10 minutes. At 8 minutes, I'll raise the green card. At 9 minutes, the yellow card. And at 10 minutes, the red card. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Leah. Now to our last role taker of the night is our general evaluator, Toastmaster Mercy Chege. I asked Toastmaster Mercy, what cultural value or tradition from your community do you think the rest of Kenya or the world could learn or adapt from? She said, as a member of the Kikuyu community, I cherish the strong sense of community fostered through traditional ceremonies such as Rorashio, where celebrations bring people together, reminding us to embrace life moments. Toastmaster Mercy Chege.
Evening, Toastmasters and guests. So I'll be your general evaluator tonight. I'll be looking at everything that happened before the meeting, everything that happens during the meeting, and everything that doesn't happen during the meeting. And at the very end, I will give my remarks. And this promises to be an exciting meeting. So let's hold on and let's have a wonderful time together. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mercy. Before we proceed to our next segment, we have a point of order from Toastmaster Nick.
Just to mention, we are having technicalities. So just in case pertaining to the program, kindly make sure that you are seen. Kindly for the speakers and any person. So bear with us as we correct this. Carry on.
Thank you. Toastmasters and guests, we shall now proceed to the heart of our meeting tonight, which is our prepared speeches. We have 4 amazing speakers, each of whom will give their speeches. In celebration of these special moments, we shall applaud each of them as they take the stage and at the end of the speech. For the speakers, I asked them, what is one cultural tradition from your community that you believe the rest of the country should experience at least once in their lifetime and why? Our first speaker of the night is Toastmaster Njoroge Maina, who will be evaluated by Toastmaster Christine Ombaka.
For
For Toastmaster
Njoroge,
Njoroge,
in
in
Kikuyu
Kikuyu
tradition,
tradition,
young
young
people were
people
taught
were
to
taught to
respect their
respect their
elders, such that when they met, they would stop and greet the elders. A recent encounter in a matatu illustrates a decline in these respects, and there is need to revive these cultural values. Toastmaster Christine, please tell us the speech objective and title of Njoroge's speech.
DJ Maggie, kindly confirm you can hear us?
Can hear, but we can't see. We are seeing the ceiling.
Give us a few minutes. We sort this out. Don't logo. Don't. The sound goes on. There's it. Oh. Oh.
Background. Yeah.
Check on the whether it has a blurred background, because now we can't see the word of the day, but it can be okay.
You can hear and see us now?
We can hear, we can see, but it's almost as if there is a background. So the speaker is disappearing into it.
Good now?
Lovely. Perfect. Well done.
I can't see myself. Yeah.
Once you start speaking, it will pick you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing this cultural evening? I am here to introduce a lovely speaker, incoming Dr. Njoroge Maina. He's undertaking his icebreaker speech under the presentation mastery pathway. That's level 1, project 1. The purpose of his speech is for him to introduce himself to the club and to learn the basic structure of a speech. So I will allow incoming Dr. Njoroge, come and take the stage. Apologies for any resulting inconvenience. Njeraina, apologies for any resulting inconvenience.
Whew. 7 a.m. East African time. I wake up, I'm feeling tired. The previous day was quite tiring for me. I'd been having an engagement with some youth in Embakasi, and we're speaking about coping with stress and pressure, especially in the Gen Z group. We had that conversation. I left quite late and I came back to my house quite late. So I wake up at 6:30. I'm looking at the light outside. I don't know whether you've ever woken up and felt like you shouldn't be seeing light at this time. There's something you had planned yesterday and you shouldn't wake up when the sun has risen. But I can't quite remember what is this. Then I remember suddenly, I was supposed to visit my grandma in Kirinyaga. Well, it's been quite a week for me. Kenyatta National Hospital has been quite busy. I've had a few presentations here and there in different youth seminars. And I'm like, maybe I can postpone to a later date. I can visit my grandmother another day. But it's been a while. It's been like maybe several months, maybe 5 or so. I've not seen my grandma. Maybe it's high time I go and see how she's doing and maybe greet other relatives at home. Well, I'm dressing up. And as I'm dressing up, I'm thinking about, maybe this could be an inconvenience to my schedule because I'm having a car tomorrow. But if an uncle of mine is hit by a motorbike right now, God forbid, goodness, and I'm called right now, honestly speaking, that car will wait. So why not go right now and everybody's okay at home? Okay, yeah, that voice in my head sounds quite convincing. So let me just go and see how people are doing at home. So I travel to Kirinyaga, it's a 2-hour ride, and I get home. There's grandma. She's singing and asking Njoroge like this one, where have you ever seen him? In our native language. We have conversations throughout the day, from morning up to evening. And the lush green environment at Kirinyaga is so relaxing, way more relaxing than the cozy beds of Kistisuru. Can't even compare them. The conversations with grandma are so refreshing, so enriching, so entertaining. I laugh even at the proverbs I don't understand, and pretend that I actually do understand what she means. And in the evening, I'm ready to travel back home. I mean, was a great day. The thickness of the blood in Kirinyaga cannot be compared to the water in Nairobi. So I've not been wasting my time anyway. If you think I've been wasting my, then to me, I haven't. And as I'm traveling back to Nairobi, there's a lot of traffic on Thika Road. And when I get home, it's pretty late. Remember, I'm having a car tomorrow. And now you start looking at what your friends are doing, maybe on their statuses and everything, and realize people have been reading. But either way, we'll go and do that cut. Fast forward, Tuesday. 36 minutes past 3 a.m. A friend of mine posts a cryptic status that I'm struggling to understand. Well, I'm used to him posting symbolic things that are hard to really understand and interpret. But this time around, I'm really struggling to get to understand this. Within no time, we start asking ourselves, is everything really okay? And this is what the status reads. At the bottom of the swimming pool, apologies for any resulting inconvenience. Well, he doesn't normally post literal things, so maybe this could have a symbolic meaning. But some of my friends think otherwise. We start looking for him. We go to his room. He's not there. We start looking for him around the university and maybe the places we are used to him being, because he's my classmate. We can't find him either. We're wondering, where could this guy be? The classes are going on. At 10 a.m., we find him. Guess where we find him? At the bottom of the university swimming pool. He's gone. He was an intelligent guy, always answering questions in class, and sometimes even offering to answer on behalf of the lecturer. We loved him, and we cherished his intelligence. But he's now gone. Everyone is posting on his status and probably writing a tribute to him. Everything comes to a standstill. The lectures, nobody cares about the lectures anymore. As we speak, I'm coming from his memorial. Just a few minutes ago, we were lighting candles in his memory. Tomorrow morning, I'm supposed to leave my house at 4 a.m. to travel to Nyahururu to his burial. Sad, isn't it? He went to Alliance. He was a great chum, very intelligent. And if you think about it, as I'm traveling to Nyahururu tomorrow, I don't care about the cuts I'm having next month. I'm supposed to have 4 cuts, and there is an end of year examination for year 4 happening in about 1.5 months. But for me and those of us in my class who are traveling to his burial tomorrow, we don't care about those cuts or those exams. Maybe we want to mourn our friend one last time. It's very painful, very heartbreaking. Fellow Toastmasters, you have that friend you've probably not called for a while, that family member you've not talked to for a while. I know you're busy. I know you're waiting for a promotion at work. I know some of you are multitasking between family, learning as an adult, and probably even work. But just take 30 minutes of your time, sometime this week, and call them, ask them how they're doing. Apologies for any resulting inconvenience.
Thank you, Toastmaster Njoroge, for sharing with us. We will move on to our second speaker for the evening, Toastmaster Kevin Jao, who will be evaluated by DTM Maggie Njoroge. For Toastmaster Kevin, he said that he would like everyone to experience the Kikuyu wedding ceremony, which is called the Ngurario. This is because it's more than just a celebration. It's a deeply symbolic event that brings families together and blesses the union of 2 people. DTM Maggie, please tell us the speech objectives and title of Kevin's speech.
Thank you very much, our Toastmaster of the evening. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most welcomed guests. As was the case with the first speaker, this second speaker is also attempting the icebreaker speech and beginning their Pathways journey this evening. The purpose of the icebreaker speech is for the member to introduce themselves to the audience and demonstrate the basic objectives of a speech, that's having a title, an opening paragraph, a body, and a conclusion. We hope that at the end of the speech, we'll know something a little more about this particular speaker. The speaker has 4 to 6 minutes within which to deliver their speech. Kelvin Zhao, what tried to break me, built me. What tried to break me, built me. Kelvin Zhao.
Teacher Maggie, can you confirm you can hear us?
I can hear and I can see. Thank you very much. I can hear and I can see.
Excellent.
Over to you, Kelvin Zhao, with a speech titled, What Tried to Break Me, Built Me. What tried to break me, built me. Kelvin Zhao.
You can't. That's right.
Yeah. So if you look, we have a company to right?
I should.
Because it will be showing. So big.
We'll have to adjust for this.
It's just that's a good it's passage.
This one.
It's
connected.
we put some let's see.
Confirm it's holding.
That can put that.
Yeah.
Oh, what can
Imagine.
Teacher Maggie, you can hear us?
Confirmed and I can see.
Great. Kindly introduce Toastmaster Kelvin once more, please.
Thank you very much. I'll now introduce our second speaker for this evening, Kelvin Zhao. What tried to break me, built me. What tried to break me, built me. Kelvin Zhao.
Good evening, Toastmasters. I once thought
having to walk to a bank to ask for money was actually a difficult task. Turns out standing in front of a room with nothing but the truth, my truth, and a personal story to tell is actually more scary. But I'm here with a story about how me. Comfort. The thing about comfort is that it breeds complacency. And humans are not meant to be complacent. You see, you get too comfortable and you lose your edge. Back in 2018, I was a banker, a relationship manager, handling what we'd call premium and priority clients. Life was good. Life was comfortable. But as we've had it, you've seen with most of these international banks, a slight inconvenience in regulation. They go back to the drawing board and restructure, meaning layoffs, cost-cutting measures. And unfortunately, towards the end of 2018, I was negatively impacted. In frontline, we normally say, you're as good as your last numbers. And the paradox of that moment for me was, in December, I was the best performed in a team of 12. 12, yes. And so how comes? Why am I going home? I kept asking myself. So 2 weeks later, they come back to me saying, you know what? We can give you another shot, but you'll be in the back office operations. I had begun my banking journey in back office, done my time for 3 years, and I was tired. There was no way I was going back. When I'm faced with such decisions, life-changing, I do consult a lot. My parents, my friends, my then girlfriend. And there was a diverse opinion from all of them. My dad told me, if your heart is not into it, walk away. My mom, of course, as they are in human nature, was scared. How are you going to pay your bills? I mean, you pay your rent. How are you going to do that? My friends were supportive because they knew the entrepreneurial spirit that I had. Lucky for me, my girlfriend told me I can do what I want. She'll support me anyway. So I quit. And I leaned in my side hustle. I was doing transport. And now that I had the time on my hand, I was a jack of all trades. I was doing construction. I was doing logistics. I was doing basically anything that would bring me something. But as you know it, a jack of all trades would not win in such an economy. For a bit of time, life was good, life was comfortable. But come 2020, COVID hits. Life as we know it froze. Contracts were canceled, projects were paused, clients were not paying, some even closed shop. But still, I managed to get by. That phase of my life taught me a lot about Kenya and being a business person. It takes grit, it takes tenacity, it takes perseverance. Come 2021, I couldn't do it anymore. cash flows were a mess. I'd still get opportunities, but my challenge was still the cash flow. So I had to re-strategize. But unfortunately, I was too comfortable then. I mean, I'd persevered 2020 when things were worse. But unfortunately, I found myself having to sell off some assets to get by. And that to me was my wake-up call. I had to make tough decisions, go back to school. With my background, if I really wanted to go back to employment, I'd had to upskill. And you can imagine me, a 30-plus-year-old, in a class with Gen Zs. Quite humbling, but I guess that's what motivated me. And in a year and a half, I was back up. I was doing consultancy work back again and still running my side hustles. Mine is a story of tenacity because here I am. My feet, I'd say my feet are back up. And a few lessons I've carried with me ever since. One, don't just go through life, grow through it. Two, by show of hands, anyone who has ever heard of the Nova effect? Anyone online? Sometimes setbacks can be setups. Three, being too open-minded can burn you sometimes, be it your career, be it your friends, be it your friends, be it your business opportunities that you want to explore. I was a jack of all trades, and to date, I've not been able to collect from some of my clients. I got banned. Lastly, a friend may be hiding behind a stranger's face. I was fortunate to rely on my family, friends, and sometimes strangers who gave me opportunities. As I conclude, I'd want to leave with a parting shot. A quote by Carl Jung. I am not what has happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Fellow Toastmasters, thank you.
Thank you, fellow Toastmaster. We shall now move to our third speaker of the evening, Toastmaster Ashipet Selfa, who will be evaluated by Toastmaster Lillian Kimandu. For Ashipet, she says, many people do not know much about the Iteso culture, but one cultural tradition is the annual festival, which is held every 26th December. It is a vibrant showcase of Iteso heritage, complete with traditional dances, music, and rich delicacies. One must-try dish is the ekidomechere, a flavorful meat stew served with soft atapa. Toastmaster Lillian, please tell us the speech objectives and title of Ashipet's speech.
Good evening. Hey guys, I'm louder than you. Good evening. How are you? This evening, I have the privilege of evaluating a tenacious lady by the name Selfa Ashipet, who is attempting her second project in level 1 of the presentation mastery path. How many people are doing presentation mastery in the room? Hey, like half of the club. Fantastic. So Selfa is attempting the second speech, which is writing a speech with a purpose. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn the basic methods of writing a speech with a defined purpose. For instance, you can talk about sports, but you need to be specific what sports you're talking about or what message you want people to get from the sports that you're talking about. So that is what Selfa will be doing this evening. And help me to welcome her, Selfa Ashepet. The voice in my head almost won. The voice in my head almost won Selfa Ashepet.
You are not enough. We've all that voice. We've all heard it. We know it. It might have come from the people that we trust the most, or perhaps screamed at you right before you went for that big presentation. And at times, it gets to you the most anticipated and kind of a time you needed someone to stand in for you. And for me, this voice almost pulled me down and kind of kept me away from standing in here today. You know, we've all been made to believe that the people we admire the most, the icons, the top achievers in our lives, have somehow unlocked a life free from insecurities, that their lives are all packed up and they do not have to worry about any other thing. But what if I told you that might not be the real truth? Maybe they too suffer from self-doubt. They too suffer from insecurities. You know, when I graduated in 2023, I came top of my class. But seeing my name top of the list, I was like, no, this cannot be me. Why not so-and-so? I kept on pointing out some of my classmates' names because I knew in as much as I put in the hard work, they too did it. And to some point, to me, I didn't really deserve to have the title. And at that moment, I came to realize that I dwelled so much on the voices in my head that kept on telling me I could not do it, that I was not enough. And I forgot to factor in and measure on the things that really made me me, the things that made me unique. But again, just like any other person, I didn't learn. I just didn't woke up one Sunday and say, now Selfa is not going to doubt herself. No, it didn't go that way. It kept on coming in and out. I have missed out on opportunities, not once, not twice, but countless times. Not because I wasn't enough, not because I wasn't capable, but because I told myself I didn't fit in. I didn't have what it takes for me to be in that room. And it had costed me 1,000 times. And I'm quite sure if we walk in and ask most of you, this could be a voice that we've all encountered at some point. We've heard of stories, mothers telling their kids, you're not brilliant enough. There is no point of me taking you to school. That kind of a thought gives people insecurities. And at some point, you feel like, honestly, yeah, my mother said this and this. And that now becomes a defining factor of your life. But does it really need to be that way? And last year, I took up on a journey. It wasn't easy. I didn't want to sign up for it. But I did sign up for this mentorship program because I doubted myself to a point that I could not take myself to some opportunities or to some rooms full of opportunities because I felt like, no, I'm too tiny. I cannot even have whatever others have. But again, until I missed out on a scholarship opportunity that could have changed my life, not because I could not fit in the bar, but because I just chose to believe that I could not do it. At that point, I had to snap out of that kind of a slumber that I was into, that kind of a hole. But again, in this mentorship program, I wasn't so much proactive. But my mentor has been so much instrumental for my growth. Me joining Toastmasters, it was a push. Going for the scholarship was a push. And I have to admit the fact that it might not have taken out the self-doubt in me, but somehow it has changed the way I respond to it. And maybe you are in here looking up to DTM Maggie, wondering if she ever gets nervous before giving a speech, or looking up to Toastmaster Okari and wondering, how does he do it so effortlessly? If he's here, you could walk to him, ask him, does he get nervous? Maybe by then, you'll get the courage you need for you to push on with that project that you have at hand. You have that project, you have that motion that you're looking up to, and you feel like, I cannot do it. Turn off the what ifs. The only way to do it is by you facing your fears. And a reminder, if you have to forget every other thing I say tonight, kindly remember that when it comes to opportunities, everyone starts from zero. Everybody. All that matters is how much are you prepared? And a question to you, if self-doubt was not in your path, where would you have been?
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashipet. So for the icebreakers, they're the ones that we stand and clap. But now, since they're not the icebreakers, we can just clap. To our last speaker of the evening, Toastmaster Beth Wamboi, who will be evaluated by Toastmaster Kevin Okari. For Beth, this is what she had to say. A tradition she would like everyone to experience is a Kikuyu tradition called Ushokia Kianda, where young girls were taken to their aunts to be taught about themselves, hygiene, and how to keep a home and cook. She believes it's a very educative tradition. Toastmaster Kevin, please tell us the objective and title of Beth's speech.
You can now start clapping.
Thank you so much, CMOD. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Please turn to the neighbor next to you, just give them a smile and tell them you're at the right place. Better, better. Now that's a better way to bring my full tenacity into this evaluation. This evening, I have the pleasure of evaluating Beth Wamboi's speech. Beth is on the strategic relationships pathway, and she is attempting level 1 project 4. On level 1 project 4, she's required to do 3 things. Number 1, she does the first speech, she gets feedback, and then she does the second speech having incorporated the feedback. And later, she will be able to do an evaluation. So that is the 3 stages on level 1 project 4 that she has undertaken. So she did her first speech. Today, she is attempting her second speech, having incorporated the feedback received from her first speech. This evening, she will be giving us a speech titled, Rising Above the Yell. Rising Above the Yell, Beth Wamboi.
Have you ever found yourself in a line of exchange? And no, not of bullets, but of words. A moment where you felt like snapping back, giving someone a piece of your mind. By a show of hands, how many of you have found themselves in such a scenario? It could be a colleague, a stranger, or even a family member. Today, I will teach you on a different kind of response, one that does not involve the noise. but rises above the noise. A few weeks ago, it was on a beautiful Friday morning. I was very energetic. Finally, it was end of the week. A friend of mine had invited me for coffee. Life was looking up. I was seated on my desk, peacefully sipping my coffee. Then boom, this bulky man, red-faced, storms in, breathing fire. I've had enough of you people. For a moment, my heart skipped a bit. My peaceful morning had just turned into a pressure cooker. And before I could think of what to do, something kicked in. My customer service mode was activated. It has been 3 weeks of you people not paying my claims. What is wrong with you? Sorry, sir. Please have a seat. We resolve this. I do not want to sit down. You people, you are thieves. All I want is my money. Either I get my check today or someone will get fired. Sorry, sir. I understand your frustrations. Please help me with their claim number. I look into it. Madam, what is wrong? Do you want me to tattoo my claim number on my forehead? This conversation went on and on and on. But by the end of the day, some paperwork was filled, clarity was given, and the customer left a calmer customer. In my previous speech, where I took you behind my desk, we learned that insurance isn't just about policies and premiums. It's about the people. And these people come to us at the time of need. It could be a financial distress, a medical emergency, or even an accident. But the truth of the matter is, not every time the processes are smooth. And during that difficult time, we are supposed to act with calmness, with empathy, even when it seems far-fetched. Fellow Toastmasters, in the customer service world, the customer isn't always right, but the customer is a human. And humans comes to us in various forms. Some very angry, very rude, but others very friendly, softly. But remember, it's not about you. The anger is something, it's a sign of something bubbling underneath. It could be fear. It could be unsure or what to expect. Or for some, it's a mood disorder. But what I want us to learn tonight, when someone comes to you and you have two choices. The choice number one, you can decide to match the fire. Yes, Gen Z would say, kaende, kaende. We move, we move. That's the translation. You move with the flow. You take one step, I take two. You raise your voice, I do 2 times higher. But what I want us to learn tonight, the second option, rising above the noise, rising above the fire. And no, it has nothing to do with raising your voice, not making noise, not rolling over, but it's simply taking your time, listening to this other party, acting with calmness, with composure, then offering a solution. You let that person live happier than the way they came in. So, fellow Toastmasters, the next time someone comes yelling at you, do not let them burn your peace. Rise above it. Remember, in a world full of noise, the calm voice is what people remember. And in the words of the famous Timba Koki, you cannot calm the storm. So stop trying. Calm yourself. The storm will pass. Back to you, Chairman.
Thank you, Toastmaster Beth, for that grateful speech. We shall now move to where we'll be voting for the better speaker for the evening. And as usual, we are not going to vote for the icebreakers. An icebreaker for the guest is the first speech that a person delivers when they join Toastmasters. Therefore, we are going to vote between Toastmaster Ashipet Salfa, who was being evaluated by Toastmaster Lillian Kimando, and Toastmaster Beth Wamboi, who was evaluated by Toastmaster Kevin Okari. As we continue voting, we'll move on to the next segment of this meeting. This is where we have the table topics. The table topics will be led by Toastmaster Emma Wamoyo. I asked Toastmaster Emma, in many Kenyan cultures, children are taught using proverbs. Do you remember a proverb from your childhood that made you think or laugh? She said her grandmother taught her a proverb that she remembers till date, which says, siku ya nyani kufa, miti yote huteleza, which means you cannot avoid fate. Toastmaster Emma, welcome and take us through the session. Thank you.
You're not just voting, but you can also give feedback to the speakers of the day. Remember, we look at the feedback that you received. So you have spaces to give the feedback to the speakers. Thank you.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
My name is Emma Maina. I'll be taking you through the table topics. My role today is to ask questions, impromptu questions, and I'll pick members randomly. You have 1 to 2 minutes to give me the answer. My first question goes to Arnold. Arnold, this is your question. Any sweet stories given by grandparents that make you smile to date?
So to start with, hello everyone. Unfortunately, I only ever met one grandparent of mine. The rest passed on much earlier than I was alive. But the one grandparent that I met who was my maternal grandpa, he fought in the Second World War. And the one story that always sticks to me is that he says that the last time he chose that he will never wake up to go back to war, he was in the King's African Rifles, was that he was sleeping with his rifle, and in a dream, he happened to put his hand on the trigger and laid out a shot. And that woke him up, obviously. No one died, but he was living in a mud house. So the shot actually disintegrated some of the mud of the wall, and he had to start rebuilding the part of the house that had his bedroom. To this day, if I think of Grandpa John, that's what I think about. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question goes to MC Okari. How do you say okay, he has a role. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, sorry for that. The next question goes to Sylvia. You have a role. Okay. How do you say I love you in your language in your house?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Love is an art of expressing how you feel about the other person and also about you. In my language, which is Teso, when you want to express you love someone else, you say these words. Amina Jochut, translating it to I love you so much. That's how we say it in our language. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, CM. My other question goes to Mr. Nganga. Mr. Nganga, if you could experience living in different culture, which culture would you choose and why? Yes, Mr. Nganga.
Independent culture.
Yes.
I'll start. There's one language that I've always wanted to learn, which is Luo. People think I'm Luo by just looking at me. So I tell people I'm Kikuyu and they say, how? You look very Luo. But I love Luo because of when I was a child, we had a neighbor an older man, very well-spoken of older man. And he used to speak Luo. It was like a rule in his house. All his kids, you had to speak Luo. So I found the language very beautiful. I don't know, I just find the language so rich, very, it's very romantic, but it's a nice language. It's very rich. The people are romantic. I beg to differ. But I like the people because they're very tenacious and it speaks in their language. So I would like to learn the Luo language and the Luo culture because I want to marry a Luo woman one day.
The other question goes to Olisa. In your culture, what is your favorite dish? And do you still like it?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. So what's the question?
In your culture, what is your favorite dish and do you still like it?
Favorite dish in my culture is Nigerian culture. Because I'm about to say jollof rice for reasons you all know. It's the best dish on the planet, made with love. And when you taste it, you taste tenacity and grace of a Nigerian. Do I still love it? Definitely. Most likely till I die. Thank you. Back to you, DMOB.
I have another question to Mercy. Mercy is our guest. What is your best outfit? What is your best outfit? Yes.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. my best outfit. Yes. I love trousers with a half coat that is slightly below my just to hide.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I feel that I've done part of it, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Emma Wamoyo. And to continue with some of her questions, to the gentlemen in the room, how many of you have eaten mokimo by show of hands? To the gentlemen only? Mercy, you're not a gentleman. How many love the mokimo? Another question, how many of you have ever had a crush on a Kikuyu girlfriend? So only two people have had a crush on a Kikuyu girlfriend. And now, have you ever wondered if you can marry a Kikuyu girl? Arnold, have you ever thought of it? It's because you smiled and you didn't have a crush. So I'm here to share with you today 5 steps. If you would like to marry a Kikuyu girl, 5 steps that you will take for you to marry a Kikuyu girl. So the step number 1, you have to declare your intention. But you're not declaring your intention to the girl. You have to declare it to the whole clan. You don't just buy flowers and take them to the girl. No, that is not what the Kikuyu people do. You have to go, call your cousins, call your grandparents, call everyone, carry some goats, and visit the girl's clan and declare your intention. Then, after you've declared your intention, and maybe the family accepts, you move on to the second step, which is the rurashio. The rurashio is the negotiation. I'm sure you've heard about how the Kikuyu negotiations are. So this is the dowry ceremony, and here is the trick. You're always expected to pay, but you don't pay the full price. You just pay some of the money that you've been told to pay. Also, during this time, you're expected to bring some items. First, you're supposed to bring sugar. They believe when you bring sugar, it's like you're bringing sweetness to the family. Secondly, you're expected to bring honey. The purpose of the honey, it's because it's natural. It's sweet naturally. So it shows your love is natural and sweet. And thirdly, you need to come with goats. But you just come with goats because you have to. It's a rule. You have to accompany with the goats. And during this time, you're going to meet uncles who pretend to be very serious. Just look them straight into the face. It's just the drama. It's the theater of the whole negotiation ceremony. Then, after you pass this step, we move to the third step, which is the ngurario, like the traditional wedding. Here, it's where you make things official, the traditional way. The bride, that is your bride, will serve you with porridge. If you drink the porridge, it's like signing a marriage certificate. So that's how you sign the traditional marriage certificates. And if you don't drink the porridge, you go back to step 1. You start looking for a girlfriend and declaring other intentions. At this point, you still have to bring more goats because you have to sacrifice more, you have to get more blessings. And at this point, the families are united, and that's why you hear the ululations. So for the Kikuyus who are here, how do people ululate during weddings? Thank you. Then, after you're done with your wedding, all does not end there. We move to the 4th step. This is where we have the gifts, there are dances, and now you can be included in the family gossip. This means that during this time, you're able to dance with the aunties, talk with the people around, and as you speak, as you eat, they are watching you. They are still confirming whether you're suitable to join this family. And the last step, if you want to marry a Kikuyu girlfriend, is that always remember you are in the family and still out because you didn't finish paying your dowry. So you're expected to show up in every function, every family function. You're supposed to call your mother-in-law, mother, and most importantly, to keep paying the debt slowly by slowly. So to the men who would love to marry a Kikuyu girlfriend, I want to give you just one tip tonight. Make sure that your negotiation game is as strong as your love game. We will now move to our third segment of the evening, where we will have the evaluations. In this segment, the speakers
about 1 minute.
Thank you. So, as earlier highlighted, we're going to move to our third segment, where
Notify the online audience.
for the online audience, please vote for the best table topic speaker between Arnold and Nana. Nganga. James.
I prefer Nganga.
Nganga. It's tradition. He prefers Nganga.
No, dear.
So for the evaluators, I asked them, what is one way your culture or tribes gives feedback, and how does that compare to what we do here in Toastmasters? Our first evaluator for the night is Toastmaster Christine Ombaka, who was evaluating Toastmaster Njoroge minor speech. In Christine's culture, feedback is given through elders who advise and correct members of the community. Same case as Toastmasters, where experienced members who have progressed in their paths and learned are to give feedback. Toastmaster Christine, welcome.
Please have a seat as I evaluate you. Good evening once again, Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Njoroge, apologies for any resulting inconvenience. That was a very motivational speech, which you are able to demonstrate to us by intertwining your personal dilemma with the dilemma of a fellow classmate who unfortunately lost his life. You are able to take us through the tenacity you have to go through to wake up and decide, will I travel home to see my grandparents and my family, or will I stay back and study for a CAT that is also pressing and as important in life? What did you excel in? First is the use of your body language. When you began your speech, you gave us a very big yawn about how you woke up on a Sunday morning. We're able to get into the position you are in at that specific point in time. Secondly, what did you excel at? Is the use of descriptive language. You're able to describe to us how when you got home, your grandmother's bed was very cozy. So we can even imagine how soft that was in comparison to the bed that you have back here. You also excelled at audience engagements, where you asked the audience, where was he? We were able to revert back to you because we were paying attention that he was at the bottom of the pool. Areas you may want to work on, I recommend that you work on your pace. When you are giving the remarks about how unfortunately you learned about the passing of your friend, you could have started by saying, at 10 a.m., we found out where he was. At the bottom of the pool. You allow people to process, because that moment is a very sad moment. And as you pause, you allow people to take that in and soak in the mood that you're in. Second area I recommend you work on is the use of facial expressions. You kept saying it was sad, we were heartbroken, but your face was like this. It was sad, we were heartbroken. Use your facial expressions to enable us understand and visualize how you felt in that specific moment. Overall, you excelled in use of body language, in the use of descriptive language, and in audience engagement. You may want to work on the use of pace and the use of facial expressions to enhance how you give speeches going forward. Overall, that was an excellent motivational speech where you're able to give us a call to action for each one of us to be able to give back and visit our people back at home. Don't get lost in our current world. And with that, I recommend that you move on to the next level. Congratulations, Dorothy.
Thank you, Toastmaster Christine. Our second evaluator this evening is DTM Maggie, who was evaluating Toastmaster Kevin Zhao's speech. For DTM Maggie, storytelling is a feedback mechanism in the Kikuyu culture. Storytelling is a crucial way for Kikuyu culture to impact values and social norms. Elders, particularly, use stories to guide younger generations, illustrating appropriate behaviors and consequences. Toastmaster also encourages the use of stories to communicate. Welcome, Toastmaster, DTM Maggie. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our Toastmaster of the day. Calvin, you're welcome to the virtual stage. There you are. You delivered your speech with such tenacity. I particularly like the way you set the stage. You began by telling us a joke that you thought was more scary to go into a bank and ask for money, only to discover that standing in front of an audience can be more scary. And that helped me in your audience to connect with you and empathize with you as you began speaking to us. You then delved into the body of your speech, letting us know that you are a banker, and shared some of the things that transpired that caused you to exit the bank. And even though you had an opportunity to come back, you decided to venture into your own business. And again, we saw the tenacity with which you took up different roles, being a jack of all trades. You have excellent storytelling abilities, and I was engrossed as you delved into different aspects in your life. I like that you had an excellent opening, transitioned to the body using time. You specifically mentioned 2018, 2019, and 2020. And that enabled me to know that you've now finished that aspect and are talking about a different time in your life. You went into lessons, and I realized that I lost you a little bit there. I was trying to tie in the 4 lessons to what you had just shared. You may consider transitioning smoothly into those lessons so that we can appreciate how they relate to the speech. Thereafter, you transitioned to a powerful conclusion. I liked the quote by Carl Jung. It was able to sum up your entire speech beautifully, and it helped us see the place of your speech title and how it relates to the rest of your speech. Overall, you were able to share aspects about your life that enabled us to know you better. You had a good opening. You transitioned to the body. You need to work on how you tie in the lessons for us to see the relevance of the same, and then conclude as powerfully as you did with that quotation. I note that you took 8 minutes and 23 seconds. You may decide to redo it to keep within time or to proceed. Overall, you did well. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, DT and Maggie, for the feedback. We now go to our third evaluator of the night, Toastmaster Lillian Kimando, who was evaluating Toastmaster Ashibet Selfa's speech. For Lillian, in her culture, feedback is rarely direct. It often comes through stories with hidden lessons. Toastmaster has taught her to embrace clear, constructive feedback using the sandwich method. It's not always easy, but she's learning one step at a time. Toastmaster Lillian.
Words have power. Use them to plant seeds of purpose. Njoroge, you are not enough. Is that a seed of purpose? Exactly, but it has power, correct? Selfa Ashepet, congratulations for delivering your second speech in Toastmasters, and you look the part. Your purpose this evening was to deliver a speech that had a definite purpose, and we could tell from the topic that we chose this evening that is so relatable to so many of us. Raise your hand if you have ever shied away from taking up a role or something in your life because of the voices in your head. Great, you can see that was such a relatable speech and I really loved it. And I particularly loved the way you shared a personal story to drive your message home. When you came top of the class, but the voices in your head kept reminding you that you're not worthy to be top of the class, and you are looking around for any other person in the room or in your class to take up the first position. That makes us identify with you and even understand the message that you're trying to drive home. I also love the way you opened your speech and then you went to the body and had a conclusion. That is very commendable, and it shows that you learned a lesson in your first speech. Right? And the first one is your tone of variation. Remember when you say, you're not enough, say it with power. So that somebody will be taken aback. What do you mean I'm not enough, right? So throughout your speech, your tone was a bit monotonous. There are areas that you could have taken advantage, raise your voice, and then there are areas that you could have gone a bit lower so that we move with you, right? And then the second area that you could challenge yourself is audience engagement. You notice what I've done? When I walked into stage here to the stage, I engaged the audience by asking them to raise their hand. You had so many opportunities where you could have engaged the audience so that anybody who was probably chatting on WhatsApp would be back in the room. Somebody who was already preparing dinner at home, they'll be back on the room because you asked a question that they can relate with. And the third and final area of improvement is your stage presence. I noticed that I understand you're in a hybrid setup, but then again, all this stage is yours. Can you see? You can still see me on the screen, right? Make use of this stage. Use it with purpose and move strategically to drive your points home. Overall, I really enjoyed your speech. I love that you use a personal story to drive your message home and that you chose a topic that we can all relate with, and you had a clear call of action that if you have those voices in your head, go against the tides and do it anyway. If you work on your tone of variation and your audience engagement and the stage presence, you can be sure that you'll be a great speaker. I look forward to your third project, which is vocal variety and body language. Please go and ace it. Back to you, Timothy.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lillian. And to our last evaluator of the evening, Toastmaster Kevin Okari, who was evaluating Toastmaster Beth Wamboi's speech. For Toastmaster Kevin, in his culture, people prefer to say it as it is without filters or empathy. It is the direct opposite of how we give feedback in Toastmasters, which is considerate, constructive, and full of empathy. Welcome, Toastmaster Ken.
Toastmaster of the day. Good evening once again, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good evening.
They say when an eagle is faced with rain, it doesn't perch on a tree. It goes up, soars up above the cloud, and just relaxes until the rain is over. That is what we were getting today, rising above the yell. Toastmaster Beth, you are able to give us a personal story in your customer service experience. You proceeded to give us a very structured story starting from an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Powerful, powerful story. You actually were able to use a dialogue. I have not been answered any email. Sorry, is it possible to look at it again? That kind of dialogue is able to actually let us capture that there is a distinct conversation going on between two people. Then you proceeded to even translate when you told us, kaende, kaende, translated literally as, let's move with the wave. For anyone who was not able to understand Swahili, that was helpful. Areas that you could have improved. You remember I was very deliberate when I mentioned the topic, rising above the yell. So you had the opportunity to try and infuse the vocal variation, whereby you are, I don't want to work with this company anymore. How can we best serve you? You get the difference? You are able to capture us through your speech in that. Number two, intentional movement. When you are on stage, you need to be very intentional. As you use the stage, you know you can move without a purpose, like the way I'm doing now. But you can move with, can I help you today? And you get to listen. Or when there's something to hold back, you can actually step back. And when there's something to make a point, you step forward with purpose. Great speech. And one more thing you may need to work on is when you are speaking in a low tone. For example, I fell sick. I was not able to leave my bed. Did you hear me? You heard me, yet I was playing on a low tone. This is how you do it. Anytime you are trying to play it low or try a low tone, just ensure that you're still vocal enough to be heard with the audience. Overall, a great speech, wonderful structure, great infusion of dialogue, proper translation, and yes, we were able to see your customer service experience and how you rose above the yell. I'm looking forward to your next speech, which will be an evaluation now, and I hope to see you cruise through this pathway. Well done, Beth.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kevin Okari, for that session. Now, we are going to move to the next session. And before we move to the next part, we are going to vote for the best evaluator. All the 4 evaluators were within time, and therefore we are going to vote for all of them. For the next session, we have our guest speaker. And for this session, I would like to welcome Lillian, who is our president, to welcome the guest speaker.
Guys, we can do better. Yeah. Yeah. That was an ambush. I was not ready. I thought as a Toastmaster supposed to do this. Walubengo, Benihin. How many know Benihin? Not the Kenyan one. The other Benihin. Huh? The pastor? Yeah, who came with a storm. We don't know whether he is the son. All right. So our guest speaker this evening is known as Orator Walubengo. He's the founder of I Speak Academy, a global institution that trains people on public speaking, social etiquette, and how to stand out in spaces of influence. Currently, it is based in 3 countries, Australia, UK, and UAE, not Kenya? Okay.
I'm going to add Kenya there. He's a dynamic author, having written 8 books in the areas of communication, identity, and mindset, which have sold thousands of copies across the country and globally. He's the Chief Visionary Officer of Double B Consultancy and Double B Branding, which does personal branding for authors and professional speakers while helping them to write books easily through book transcription services and quality printing. Do we have authors in the room, upcoming authors? Njoroge, is that you? Oh, Okari, this is the man to go to. See what Lubengo behind the scene. He commands influence across the globe. This I can attest because I've seen him on stage through his social media platforms that enables him to reach millions of people across continents through engaging videos and training sessions that have impacted students in 18 different countries so far. Apart from this profile, I know Walubengo at a personal level. I've known him for quite a long time, and I've seen the way he has grown from a student to now the man that he is. I look at his video, I'm like, you don't have those voices in your head like Salfa. And how do you calm the voices in your head and still do it and command the presence on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, everywhere, on stages? Recently, he was in South Africa, and then he crisscrossed to Uganda, and then I was like, dude, you have 48 hours in a day like DTM Maggie, because DTM Maggie is another one. Anyway, help me to welcome Orator Walubengo on stage. We can do better, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, guys, you're not clapping. Yay! Welcome to the Hill.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure speaking to all of you. I want to appreciate every single person who is here, the Toastmasters team. I've always looked forward to speaking to people in Toastmasters because it's always interesting to speak to speakers because most of the time we're used to speaking to different audiences that maybe might not be speakers, but there is a message I have for speakers only that I've always preserved for speakers. So I've been given 10 minutes and I'll try as much as I can in these 10 minutes to share with speakers what speakers really need to know in terms of their public speaking. There are 5 kinds of speakers in terms of the public speaking arena, and I would like you to see where you are and also at the same time challenge you to also come up hither. The first kind of speakers, I call them the basic speakers. Basic speakers are people who, they read books, they do research, but to some degree they are speaking as a hobby. So they have not commercialized, they don't have a rate card, they're just speaking as a hobby. Or mostly they are speaking in terms of improving their personality. They're not really sharpening their public speaking for any reason. So you'll find that these are people who have mastered social etiquette, but they have never earned anything. They have never been invited, but they're just good speakers. The best place they speak, maybe it's in the kitchen, at home, it's done. Call them the basic speakers. The second type of speakers, I call them the average speakers. The average speakers, these are people who have mastered communication. For the past 6 years, I've been able to train different groups of people. The highest level, I've trained the daughter of the president, Charlene Ruto. I had sessions with her for 4 months. That was the most interesting session because when I was in high school, I read a book called The President's Daughter. And I vowed and said, either I'll date a president's daughter or either I'll actually train a president's daughter. So that was a dream come true. I went to UBA Bank, I spoke for 5 minutes and Charlene said, I want a session. She signed up, paid $4,000 immediately. And I was training her for all these times, 3 months. And I could ask her critical questions. And every time I would get in session, I would tell her, I've left my phone. You also leave your phone. I want to ask you personal questions about politics. After training her, I changed my mind to become president. Said I don't want to become president because of some of the conversations we had and some of the experiences and the things I saw. They changed my perspective. Now, all these people I've trained, I've been training children. I've also worked with the prisons. I've trained the highest rank. I've had interactions with some of the best speakers in the globe. At the age of 16, I wrote a list of the 10 speakers I want to meet globally. Vusi Tembekwayo, Dr. Wale Akinyemi, Burale, Johnson Mwakazi, all the best speakers you can ever think. By 22, I had met all of them. The last one was Vusi. We had a 4.5 hours meeting. That's Vusi. How you paid $30,000? And Vusi told me, I'm paid $30,000 because they don't pay for the words, they pay for the influence, they pay for the suit, they pay for the grammar, they pay for the capacity. They also pay for the sophistication in terms of sending emails and invoices. They don't pay me, they pay the system. And it changed my mind in terms of public speaking. I stopped being an average speaker. Average speakers are good in terms of public speaking, but to some degree, they don't envision the future. They only look at speaking from an angle of entertainment, making people happy, or rather inspiring people. But they'll never record any videos. They'll never go any further. They don't have any platform. They just speak. And average speakers are so many. Actually, 60% of the people I've trained have ended up as average speakers. And unfortunately, even in this room today, you'll find that majority, we have actually average speakers. People who speak so well, they'll speak in places, in events of like 10, 15 people, but to some degree, you've never invested anything in public speaking. The difference between a basic speaker and an average speaker makes some effort. They're invited somewhere, but to some degree, they've never invested in their public speaking. They don't see it as a system. They'll never buy suits. They'll never buy the books. They'll never invest in terms of an ecosystem. There's a third kind of a speaker, call them alpha speakers. Alpha speakers are powerful. To some degree, they command a presence. This is a person. Remember, in public speaking, there's something called product perception, and there's product perception, and then there's a person. These three things are the three dynamics in terms of public speaking. There's you, the person, that people can like you for your story, your authenticity, and to some degree, your track record. Then there's the products you've built. If you've written a book, you have an organization, to some degree, you enter into the third rank. And then now there's a perception that you've built. What perception do people have about you? We can all say the same word, but what really determines the other person who's paid $1,000 and this other person who's paid $100, to some degree, it's about perception. You've heard them mentioning the way I've traveled and all those things. It's created a perception in your mind. You want to listen. You want to know, why is this person traveling all over? Why is this person getting this access? I'm mentioning my track record in a silent way. I'm telling you, I trained this person. I've met this person. There's a perception I'm creating. And to some degree, people pay for perception. That's the reason why Coca-Cola soda is 30 shillings at home. But at the same time, when you go at the airport, it's 400. When you go at Kempinski, it's 1,000. Same product, but the perception that has been created is different. How do I define perception? It's an ambience and the atmosphere that you create as a speaker when you go somewhere. When you go to Kempinski, you're paying for the English of the waiter. You're paying for the seats. You're paying for the music that you don't even like, the jazz. You're paying for the capacity that they have created around the ecosystem. It creates a certain presence. That's the third category, the alpha speakers. The alpha speakers built a product. They have written a book, probably. And to some degree, you'll find that they are speaking within their sphere. So if this person is a banker, they only speak in banks. If this person is in tech, they only speak in tech. They never go past their spheres. But now there's a fourth category. There's a fourth category. The fourth category, we call them the alpha magnet. The alpha magnet, these are speaker who commands influence. They have built a platform. They have a presence. They have a powerful profile. Now, at this level, we've begun talking about investing in yourself to become an ecosystem as a speaker. The average speaker in Kenya is paid 15,000 to 20,000 Kenya shillings. The highest speaker in Kenya, I know him. It's called Dr. Wale Akinyemi. He's paid $500,000 to speak per hour. He's a guy who speaks to Fortune 500 companies. He's well positioned. These are speakers to some degree who, when you call them, you'll not find them on call. Their emails have an email footer. They have built capacity around them and solid credibility. You'll find that they have certifications globally. They'll get a certification in Toastmasters. They'll go to Dale Carnegie. They'll also go to John C. Maxwell. They've been able to build a brand. To some degree, they've also been able to travel in the world. They are a system. They have solid liquid and atmospheric influence. This is someone you cannot ignore. Solid influence, they can gather people on ground. Liquid influence, they have influence with the people who matter. Atmospheric influence, they have influence on social media. These are not typical. In Kenya, we only have 10% at least. Why? Because to some degree, many don't see their public speaking journey as brands. You heard the guy Nganga there speaking, powerful voice, but I don't know him. Why? Because to some degree, he's not yet seen himself to that angle of becoming an alpha magnet speaker. Alpha magnet speakers attract, they don't push. The other categories, they push. You ask people to call you to speak, but there's a level where you don't push, you attract. I met Nick and Lillian at Junction Mall 3 weeks ago, and they said they need me here. That's called attracting. If I called them 3 years ago and told them I want to come and speak, they could have refused. There's a level in public speaking where you don't need to push, where you attract. But that level, to some degree, you must sharpen yourself. As Bruce Lee says, I don't fear a man who has practiced 10,000 kicks, but I fear a man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. But now there's a last category. There's a last category. There's a last category. This one is a powerful level. These ones, I call them the disruptive speaker. They have a message for a generation. They have generational influence. They either speak to the Gen Alpha and they're consistent about it. They either speak to the Gen Z and they're consistent about it. They either speak to the baby boomers and they're consistent about it. They know that they have a message for a generation. To some degree, their personal story rides on their profile, 50% at least. And at the same time, they're well positioned. This is a speaker who has been able to build capacity across the globe. This is a speaker who is not limited. They're not just speaking in Kenya. Their language cuts across. When they go to speak in another continent, they'll be listened to. This is a speaker who commands influence across board in terms of, let's say, like LinkedIn, but at the same time also TikTok. Most speakers have influence maybe in one social media platform. You'll find that someone has followers on Instagram only, they're not on Facebook, they have not been able to balance. But this last category, you'll have to be across, you'll have to be in all platforms. And to some degree, in this last category, you'll have to really work on your personality. There are things that you'll work on, even in terms of your looks. At this level, your wardrobe becomes a priority because you are a walking billboard. And you must begin to see yourself as a walking billboard in terms of public speaking. That you have to invest yourself in terms of image. I call them the 3 budgets that every speaker needs. The budget of capacity, the budget of networking, and the budget of the future. The budget of capacity is where you invest in yourself as a speaker. Every month, I buy books up to 20,000 Kenya shillings. I read books on human behavior. I read books in terms of food. I read books in terms of culture. I read books even in terms of watches and fashion. I want to understand the 7 areas every speaker must master. Because in public speaking, you have a rule, know something about everything and everything about something. Because for you to be outstanding to a certain degree, this 5th level, here we don't try. You must have the capacity to speak for 5 hours without reading. Because memory and mastery is an ingredient. Because when they sit, I stand. When they stand, I stand out. And when they stand out, you put a standard. These principles must be followed. Because at that 5th category, it's not about trying. It's about doing. It's a pleasure speaking to you. I've done several books, but today came with 3. I've done another generation, which talks about different generations and mindset and patterns. How can you influence the Gen Alpha? How can you influence the Gen Z? How do they think? Then I've also done 360 Seconds of Destiny, how to speak and say things in the shortest time possible. And then I've also done Sprout, which talks about the 5 things you can never choose in life: parents, background, tribe, skin color, and nationality, and how they can influence your self-esteem as a speaker. I believe that we'll collaborate on so many things. I've been able to learn a few things that you guys are doing, the structures, the culture you've created, and it's powerful. Toastmasters has pioneered what public speaking is today. Because in public speaking, there are about 5 templates, and you guys have created one of them in terms of the culture of public speaking. And I believe that the future is here for us to collaborate and build capacity. Thank you so much. I'll be there to sign some copies. Copy goes for 1,000 bob. It's a pleasure to speak to you.
I am now embarrassed to speak after the speaker has spoken. And now I hand it to the general evaluator to keep the pace that Mr. Walubengo has introduced.
If I get to speak after Walubengo, what does the pressure do? It increases. So I don't know how I'm gonna match up, but it's been a pleasure to, it's been a pleasure to hear from him. So we're gonna get straight into our evaluations because at Toastmasters, we are tenacious about becoming better. And how we become better is through evaluation. So first, I'd love to invite our counter, Candy, to give us her report. Thank you.
In the spirit of the pressure increasing, I will give my reports. So I am pleased to report that most of our speakers tonight showed great tenacity in avoiding the filler words and the long pauses. However, for purposes of our learning, there are some of the filler words and long pauses that were used. So for Kelvin Jao, I would love for you to pay attention to the word or. You used it a lot. For Selfa, you relied on the word but a lot. Other than that, for Beth, I really tried to find a word that you used so much, but I didn't find any. So good job. For our evaluators, your evaluation was flawless. So I hope that all of us are going to learn from the speakers that have spoken tonight, and we're going to avoid the filler words in the pauses. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Candy. Next up, we're going to have our grammarian, Perubo.
The spirit of the Kenyan cultures and diversity. We had quite a good use of language. I didn't spot any improper language use. So I'll give a summary of some of the phrases that stood out. The thickness of blood in Kirinyaga cannot be compared to the rain elsewhere. That stood out. Comfort breeds complexity. You are as good as your last numbers. Jack of all trades, it's a common phrase, but it stands out. Don't just go through life, grow through it. Setbacks can be step-ups. I am not what has happened to me, I am what I choose to be. That is a good, encouraging phrase. And there's one, the customer is not always right, but the customer is human. Rising above the noise. You cannot calm the storm. Stop trying to calm it. Calm yourself and the storm will pass. Your negotiation game is as strong as your love game. For the word of the day, we have had a very good usage of it. So far, we are having 11 usages, which is a good thing. I forgot to mention one thing at the start. For the visitors, whenever the word of the day is used, we usually do an upload. Maybe that is why you saw people doing this time. I'm sorry, I didn't say that earlier. Thank you.
Thank you. Fine. Finally, we are going to have our timer, Leamanda.
Thank you, General Evaluator. I know how much of a challenge it is to keep time sometimes because during the last meeting, I overshot my allocated time by 3 minutes, an entire 3 minutes. The meeting started on time, right on time, on the dots. That was very good. And the president used 10 minutes on the dot as well, allocated time. That's very good. We got some hitches here and there, technical hitches, which took quite some time. By the time the general evaluator was taking the stage, we were about 16 minutes behind time, but we are also not as bad considering the hitches we've had, so it's commendable. So right to the evaluations, I'll start with the prepared speeches. For Njoroge, you took 6 minutes, 30 seconds within time. Kelvin took 8 minutes, 25 seconds, right with me at the 3 minutes. For Selfa, you took 6 minutes, 10 seconds. And for Beth, 6 minutes, 28 seconds. For the evaluators, Christine, you took 3 minutes, 11 seconds. Maggie, you took 3 minutes, 30 seconds, right on the dots. Lillian, 3 minutes, 25 seconds. Kelvin, 3 minutes, 2 seconds. You're all within time. For the speakers, the table topic speakers, more of you spoke for a shorter time than the 1 minute minimum. Arnold, you took 1 minute, 10 seconds. Sylvia, you took 20 seconds. Nganga, 1 minute, 13 seconds. Olisa, 38 seconds. And Mercy, 10 seconds. Thank you so much.
Thank you, our timer. So we'll just get to the evaluation. I hope at the end of the day, Walubengo can tell me what kind of speaker I'm looking to get to, but let's get to it. So before the meeting, I got added to the role takers group a bit late, but I am sure you guys had a wonderful prep because you could see the meeting was excellent and the meeting was wonderful. So I'll start with our Toastmaster of the day. She gave a great intro to the theme, and you can believe it, you can say it with me that she actually did bring the meeting to life, right? I love how she started. She had a basket. She even gave people gifts. I don't know, are we getting more gifts? I hope so. I hope that we're gonna get more guests. I loved her use of visual aids and also how she just incorporated all of us into the meeting. So that was really good. The other thing, I think one of the major things was a technical hijab. So maybe something was happening over here that I know you guys are working on. Probably I'd love to peg on something Toastmaster Paddy said in the last meeting because I was here, and he talked about this thing being here that I feel like for sure it does limit a person, because if I'm doing a speech on maybe my body movements, if you're my evaluator, if Kristen is my evaluator, she's seated there, can you see what I'm doing with my body? Right? So it means that at the end of the day, there's limited evaluations if you want to look at my body. Or maybe someone wants to see what dress you have and then they can go by. So we can we can find a way to work on this and just make it better. And I asked my best friend ChatGPT, how can we improve a hybrid meeting? And maybe these are some of the things you can consider to add to your budget in the next year. So consider improving your audio visual equipment. So you could consider buying a mic. That means that someone who is over there can be able to hear, or someone who's in the screen, right? Also have an external speaker so that if someone is speaking online, we can be able to hear them quite clearly. And you could consider buying webcams that have a wider angle, or have a phone out there with a tripod that is able to record a wider angle, so we can get rid of maybe the table. I don't know if you can get an online screen or bigger screen on the wall. If you can be able to get that, that would be great, because I think it would make it better, such that if someone wants to attend the Hill online, they're just able to come because they know they will have a good experience, as good as it is physically, right? So we can maybe look into improving on that. Something else is during the speeches. I'm sure we always do that much better, but there was a lot of distractions in the first speech and in the second speech. People kept coming in outside. Okari's laptop was very loud. We could hear it. So that was, and I could see, I think even the second speaker got a little bit distracted when he was giving his speech because he's trying to look at everything. And I'm imagining someone who's shy and they're giving their first speech, they probably get distracted and then they forget everything they wanted to see. So we could definitely work on that. For our speakers, you did a wonderful job. I think those were excellent speeches. Maybe an overall comment I would give is the power of your voice, right? So this room is quite big. And also let's add to the addition that we have like vehicles outside. So sometimes when someone's at the end there, your voice could get swallowed in. So that's something maybe you can choose to work with your mentors to become better, and also maybe a bit on your structures. One of the things I have learned is harass your mentor, meet them, ask them to teach you, ask them to keep evaluating you, meet other mentors from outside, because you're here to work on being better. Toastmasters is the only place we get mentors for free. Outside, sometimes a bit hard, right? So let's utilize our mentors. Let's work with them to become better. Something else for the table topics. Maybe I'd love to comment, Emmy, that's your name, right? Yeah, so let's remember, every time we come to the stage, it's a presentation, right? Whether you're a timer, whether you're a grammarian, whether you're an accountant, any role you're taking up, it's a presentation. So you need to observe the key three things: have an opening, have a body, have a structure. In table topics, how could you have an opening? I noticed that your questions were fixed on what the theme was, which was really good, right? So you could have an opening, comment about it, and then within the questions, perhaps connect what a speaker said with maybe comment about it or connect it with a second question, right? And then at the very end, have a closing. Maybe you could recap what someone said or something. So just have a full presentation. Something else is maybe improve on the questions a bit. Why? Because I noticed maybe when Marcy came for the last question, I think sometimes that question was difficult to answer. It was a bit difficult to answer. Perhaps you could have asked her, imagine you're going for Tikon. It's Ethiopian culture night. What would you wear and why would you wear it, right? I think maybe she'd have more content than just asking what do you like wearing, right? Or what's your favorite outfit? So create more content for it. So if you're doing table topics, let's ask more open-ended questions, because it allows the people speaking to have more things to say and they're able to weave up a complete speech. But overall, great table topic session, and I'm sure you'll keep getting better. And for those answering, please utilize your time. We've given you 2 minutes of our time, right? If you're scared more, so you just come, breathe in, breathe out, and then just proceed. And perhaps maybe you could ask more guests. I think only your guest, Ngong, are you a guest? Yeah, maybe you could have one more guest answer a question so that they're also intrigued. They see, they stutter a bit, and then they maybe want to join Toastmasters. For the evaluators, great evaluation, loved it. Something else, I love that the room was full. It means that you guys are doing a good job of advertising the meeting, so keep it up. And for sure, I'm sure this meeting will be even full of 50 people. That was a good choice of a guest speaker. Orator Benny Hinn is such a good speaker. Maybe what I would recommend is we would have given him more time, right? Considering, I don't know if he's going to be at the Hill next time. Are you going to be at the Hill next time?
Of course.
So I don't know when he's going to come back next to the Hill, right? So let's consider giving him more time because he can give us more insights. He can give us more wisdom on certain things that we can all go back home with a nugget of wisdom. So we could do this by perhaps removing the table topic session. So maybe he has 15 minutes or 20, or perhaps having 3 speeches or 2 speeches, depending on what we see we can remove. This allows us to give him more time. And also in case there are technical hitches in the meeting, we can still be able to recover the time because he has more time to speak. But that was a good choice of a guest speaker. Even when I posted the poster, I could see more people asking, oh, Benny Hinn is going to be there. I wish I would come. I wish I would come. So it means that we're doing a good job in our guest speakers because then it brings traction to people who might not know Toastmasters, but they know Benny Hinn. And when they come to the meeting, then they'd want to join Toastmasters, right? So that's a good thing. Overall, let's try to balance also how we use time to make it better. Our counter, I don't know, maybe people didn't use the arms because I didn't hear the bell ring. So in case people do use them, ring that bell. I think Arnold, when he began speaking, he had a few arms. So ring that bell so that people can always remember. I don't know if you guys get out there and then you can consciously hear bell ringing in your mind, right? And then you actually reduce the arms, so that's a good thing. I was once in a place that someone actually told Julie Geshuru on the screen that she should reduce her arms and whatever. So that was a good thing. And also again to our grammarian, to our timer, remember, make your presentation, have it full structured, have an opening, a body, and a closing. Maybe comment on how we can utilize time, comment something on your role, comment on how we can reduce the filler words, comment on how we can work on our grammar. Maybe recommend us to a book, recommend us to someone online, right? So every time you present your role, someone is able to pick up something. Overall, that was a great meeting. It kept us engaged. I learned something. I enjoyed the meeting. Did you guys enjoy the meeting? Yeah, so for sure, the Hill lives up to its password, the fun hill. So it's for sure a fun hill and a place we get to learn a lot. So I look forward to seeing you guys once again. If not at the Hill, please come visit our club at the Thika Toastmasters. And if not at the Thika Toastmasters, I hope to see you guys in Tikon at this. Are you coming? Okay, I hope to convince some of you after this meeting. But overall, the Hill, your vision is a roadmap and your goals are the milestones. Start strong and stay the course. Utilize your school fees in Toastmasters, and I look forward to seeing you become disruptive speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. At least you maintain the momentum from what Benny Hinn said. Yes, Benny Hinn, please.
Your friends, been friends for 2.5 years. Yeah. So I remember she reached out 2 years ago and she really wanted to improve her communication. Wow. Yeah. So she's telling me, man, I wanted to change how I talk in terms of business and all that. And they can see in 2 years it's becoming easy. So
I am also going to reach out and be as, what do I say? I'm lost of words because what I did and what is there. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, it's time to hand over the meeting back to our president, who is also my mentor, Toastmaster Lillian Kimando. I really hope that you enjoyed the meeting today and that surely you learned something about people's cultures. Thank you to all our amazing speakers who shared their cultural heritage and also their experience in their speeches. I would like to end the meeting from my side with a powerful proverb from the Luo people. Please take note that I'm not sure of the pronunciation 100% yet. Joey ok evi gigima ohero kende. Maybe a Luo can help me with that. But it means a buffalo does not move with only what it loves. We don't have to move with what we just love from our culture, but we should learn to respect other cultures, even if the values don't align to what we have. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, thank you for walking with me through the tales of Kenya's diversity. And now I invite Toastmaster Lillian to take us home.
Now, I will assume that you did not appreciate. Can just stand here? Maybe the people didn't see you, or you can go here. The people didn't see you. Can you see the effort? Is that how you appreciate the effort? Huh? Yeah, walk around. Don't need to see you, the effort. Huh? Oh, good. Yeah. Walk. Let them see you. Hey. Hey, that's how we appreciate effort. Fantastic. You're looking lovely. I hope I can borrow that for my ratio. But first of all, get me a man. Hey, Tabitha. Carry, please. Thank you so much, Veronica, for going out of your way to make this amazing meeting with the gifts. I see some are still remaining, so I'm hoping to get a few from, this one here. I will add it to my collection. Thank you so much. And to say thank you for the preparation, she's my mentee again, just in case you didn't hear. You can see the trend with my mentees. They go all out. Mentors, where are you? So to say thank you and congratulations for taking this role for the first time and acing it, for going out of your way, buying these things. I know it's not cheap and we didn't give you a budget. Yeah, I can even tell that outfit is new. I could feel the material. Yeah, so you can see how she poured into this role. I cannot even say thank you enough. And this is just a small token to say thank you and well done, and move on to the next stage with tenacity. Yay. Thank you. Hey, Nick, we need photos, guys. Hey, BPPR is not, he's online. He cannot take photos online. Mudenda, delegates, please, delegates. Choose someone in the room, shouts. We need photos.
I have actually. Nick is he's doing it for me today.
He's all out. He's somewhere making. Okay. Good, thank you. Well done. Now, to celebrate our icebreakers, it's not easy to deliver your very first speech, the distraction. Guys, as we've heard from the general evaluator, next time, if somebody is speaking here and if you want to get in, you should have come earlier. But if someone is standing here, you stand at the door, you wait until they're done speaking, then you can walk in. Even if you get that call, put it on silence, unless it is an emergency. So we apologize to our icebreakers, Njoroge and Kevin, for the distractions, and we commend you that you still continued and delivered your speech with tenacity. And I want to celebrate you with these two ribbons. Could you please come here and help me celebrate these two amazing speakers? The men are rising up. Tabitha should come because of the, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, come closer. Yeah. Thank you. Right. This one is for Kevin. Boy child. Men. Hey, let's do that again. Men.
Ahoo.
All right, and now to the better evaluator this evening, none other than Kevin Okari. I think we'll stop voting for this man. Officially. The better evaluator, we keep clapping until he gets here. Well done, Okari, well done. Good. And the better table topic speaker this evening goes to the man who wants a Luo woman. I hope you get one. I hope you get one. And this is how you start. When you see her, nganga, nganga, nganga. I'm teaching you how to say hi in Luo. Koro. Koro. Good. Yeah, good. All the best. Getting that Luo man. But the Kikuyu women still
Another promise. I'm going to pay for my.
Oh, we just got a new member. Fantastic. Welcome to the Hill Nganga. And then this one goes to the better speaker of the evening. Drum rolls. Drum rolls. Yay. None other than Beth Wamboi, my mentee. Hey, my mentees are shining today. Hey guys, let's celebrate. Well done, well done, well done. Well, we celebrate all of you this evening for bringing your A game to your speeches, to the table topics. I think, Tabitha, we need more table topic sessions because what is 10 seconds? And Sylvia, 20 seconds. How many years have you been a Toastmaster? You're not going to shout? Yeah, we need more table topic session. It looks like we're dropping the ball somewhere, or maybe probably have a session on table topics. I want to appreciate our guest speaker this evening, orator Walubengo, and I just wrote something small. On behalf of our club, Walubengo, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you for your impactful speech on the types of speakers. What type of speaker are you this evening? Have you evaluated yourself? Basic speakers? Are we basic? Average? Average, can I see average? Hey, you know where? Okay, basic? Alpha? Alpha magnet? Okay, I see, we have an alpha there. Let me do this again. The first one was average. Can I see average? Basic. Oh, the first one was basic, sorry. Basic, sorry, basic speakers. Okay, average. Okay, alpha. We have 4 alphas. Alpha magnetic. Yo, Kari. Hey, you're everywhere. Hey, disruptive. We say it again. Okay, basic speakers. The last one, alpha magnetic. Hey, Tabitha. Yeah, we're heading there. Okay, I think I'll need to book a session with Walubengo. He keeps telling me I can be a disruptive speaker, but I have a lot of fear, and which is true. I doubt myself a lot. Anyway, back to my. Yes.
Next session we should do is called, we can do something on the insecurities of a speaker. Insecurities of a speaker.
Hey, wait, you're coming in hot. So for those who are online, Walubengo is recommending that we do a topic on insecurities of a speaker. Unless he's a Toastmaster, unfortunately. Yeah. Nick is getting excited. All right. Walubengo, your insights were not only enlightening, but were also incredibly relevant to everyone who was in the room, inspiring, and you brought clarity and energy, and the way you just spoke with I believe people you're going to leave this room having been challenged. We truly appreciate that you've taken your time this evening. You even canceled a meeting to be here with us. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. I know you charge for such sessions, but you've given it to us for free. I can't even thank you enough. I'll see you on the side to say thank you. Thank you once again. And guys, just to appreciate him, let's applaud him one last time. Ladies, you can have it. Ladies, I'm looking at you. Hey. Walubego, can you take a photo, please? As we say thank you, Toastmasters, please come. And then he has given us an offer. If you take all the 3 books, he's going to give it to you at 2,500. The books are at 1,000 each copy, but if you take 3, you get them at 2,500. He'll be there. You can take your book and he'll sign it for you. Tabitha, where are you? Yeah. This is where leaders are made. You know you're a leader, but we can still make you a greater leader. Okay, thank you so much for being here. Oh, sorry. That's for you. All right. We are way behind time. I want to end this. You have had the recommendation from our general evaluator that we need to work on our hybrid setup. Yeah, and this is a club that does not have a budget. So if you can donate items, we will appreciate. Thank you very much. We want to appreciate all the visiting Toastmasters. By a show of hand, how many visiting Toastmasters do you have in the room? Oh, wow. Wow, okay. I will quickly, please stand. Please stand, we'll make this very brief. Rose, stand. President Rose, we're seeing you. Visiting Toastmasters. If you're a Toastmaster, we'll come to the guest. Visiting Toastmasters. I'll start here. He has become, I think you should just change your membership or just become a dual member.
Yeah, soon it'll be changed.
Oh, he's changing his membership. You're in Anchored, right? Sorry, not Anchored, downtown.
Nairobi Toastmasters.
Nairobi Toastmasters. The meet. Ditya Maggie should not hear me saying this. She's a member of Nairobi.
She's the one who invited me. Before that, Nick told me that.
Okay. Welcome to the Hill.
Was the first.
Okay. Christine, make her change his membership to the Hill. Yeah. All right. Thank you for being here. Yes. And then we have Mercy Chege all the way from Thika. She's an amazing baker. The last time we had cakes here. Huh? Sorry? Oh, okay, sorry. It's only the Hill. Only the Hill. The Thika does not even sound right. It's just Okay, Mercy, you win. All the cakes that we had here last week, she's the one who baked the cakes, and so give her business. All right, and then we have President Rose. She has gotten tired of standing. She's from Zumaridi Toastmasters. We were there yesterday. Yes, thank you for being here, Rose. They were celebrating their 100th TH meeting, because I can't say 100th, that one. Thank you for being here, Rose. We appreciate you. All the guests, please stand. If you're a guest, we have repeat guests. If you're a guest, please join me here. Join me here. I'm not going to embarrass you, I promise you. I do not plan on embarrassing you. Please just come and join me here as we end this meeting. I can see we have several guests online. Is it Essay? Tessa is a member of this club. Hi, Essay. I know you're a guest. All right, so thank you guys for being here. Thank you for an amazing meeting. I don't want to start talking to the guests before we end the meeting. So therefore, I'm calling meeting number 177 of the Hill Toastmasters adjourned. We can stop recording. Stop recording.
Recording, stop.
Thank you. Now, our guests. Wow. Wow. I really hope that you're the ones who invited them. Okay.